My best friend, while drunk, told my husband what I did 20 years ago. I kissed 4 guys during our nights out, but nothing more happened. My husband doesn't believe me and he decided to divorce me. I'll go right ahead and say the obvious. I deserve this. I'm the villain. It's all my fault. I know. But my goodness, I can't handle this. I'm posting here in the hopes that someone has advice on how to win back a betrayed spouse. So, my husband is 42 and I and my friend, we are both 42 and 20 years ago I was young and dumb and did something horrible. I had been with my husband, boyfriend at the time, for 5 years at that point. We grew up in the same hometown, part of the same friend group as kids, and fell in love in high school. We've been together ever since. After college, however, I got it into my head that my relationship was holding me down and stifling my self-expression. My best friend Julia agreed with the sentiment. Together we'd go out clubbing, leaving our boyfriends at home. We wouldn't do anything bad, but still there was a thrill to knowing that other guys were looking at us. Well, as they say, never play with fire. The more we partied, the more Julia would want to cheat. Eventually, she started making out with other guys at clubs. And I'm ashamed to say that for a few nights, I did the same, dancing with guys and kissing them. I put a stop to this after a few such incidents. I felt disgusted with myself, with her, with these strangers I was kissing, and most of all, I felt horrible about cheating on the love of my life. I told her that I couldn't hang out with her anymore if she was going to continue her cheating ways. She understood, and she put a stop to it as well. Of course, all my moral indignation didn't give me the courage to actually fess up to what I did, so we kept it out secret. Skip 20 years later. So, I married my boyfriend and he's my husband now. We have 4 children, 18, 17, 14. Over these 20 years, my best friend has practically faded out of the dating pool entirely. She has a successful business of her own, inherited from family, and she dedicates her life to running it. Her social life is essentially hanging out with me or my husband, and sometimes babysitting the kids. Well, it turns out that she has gotten so chummy with my husband that one night in February of this year, OP wrote the post in December, she had too much to drink and she ended up letting spill our little cheating incidents back in the day. She didn't mention that I only did it 4 times, kissing 4 different guys in total. Understandably, she doesn't remember those specifics. She just remembers that she cheated for almost an entire year and remembers I was doing generally the same. To make matters worse, she said this while my oldest son was upstairs, and my son heard everything. I was away for the weekend with our 3 other kids, visiting my parents, and my poor husband had to calm my son down while also trying to make sense of what Julia was telling him. I never knew that the night I left would be the last time the love of my life would ever kiss me. I came home the next day and my husband sat me down and asked me point blank if I ever cheated on him. I could tell from the look in his eyes that he knew everything. I admitted that I had. He was so calm that it scared me. I was afraid for his well-being. He's usually so proud and charismatic, and that day he just looked serene, detached from our relationship, detached from me. He told me that he wants a DNA test on all of our children, which of course I agreed to, because they're his. He's the only man I've ever slept with. We waited for the test results for 1 week, and my son wanted nothing to do with me during this time. When the results came back, I thought that we could finally start on rebuilding our foundation of trust. I had all the energy in the world to put into our marriage, and to show my man that I was worth his time and his love. The day the results came back, he told me he wanted a divorce. We have been separated since March of this year. He has purchased a condo in the downtown area of our city. My oldest 2 kids spent 100% of their time there, while my youngest twins split their time with me and with him. He refuses to go to marital counseling. Our jurisdiction has a 6-month wait before a divorce can be finalized, and that expired in October. So as October 23rd, I'm a 42-year-old divorcee with 4 kids, 2 of whom hate me, the others see me as the reason their lives were upturned. I cut Julia out of my life. I know this wasn't her fault. I know I was the one who chose to lie, and I deserve the consequences. But still, I associate my life's total ruin to her. I blame her even though it doesn't make sense. And just last weekend, one of my younger kids mentioned that Julia has been sleeping over at my husband's condo. I'm incensed with jealousy and hatred for her and anguish at this whole situation. I need to win him back. This isn't how our lives are supposed to end. We have worked so damn hard to build our home, and he can't share it all with her while I rot out here in the cold. Even the thought of calling him my ex makes me want to shrivel up and disappear. Best comments, OP answer a couple of questions. I mean, you may have been loyal to him during 20 years, but you did cheat on him 20 years ago, and every day since then you actively made the choice to lie and betray him every day for the last 20 years. That's what he said too. He said that I kept this a secret through his proposal, through our engagement, through our marriage, and through our children together. He said he can never trust me again. And he said he doesn't believe that it was only 4 incidents of kissing other guys. I can't blame him for any of it, sad face. Your biggest mistake, not counting cheating, was hiding it for 20 years. It's your entire relationship. For him it is as if everything were false and a lie. Not only that, but you could also be calm with all that. As he sees it, their relationship was built on the basis of a lie and he never knew it. There are many cases where it can be recovered, but in this, I do not think it will be possible, at least in a few years. The amount of time is too much, and it is literally their entire relationship. What have you been and doing all this time that you are separated? Have you been with someone else? He refuses to talk to you? I haven't been with anyone else. There have been plenty of opportunities, but I'm just not interested. This is almost entirely because the thought of a relationship with anyone but him repulses me. I can't explain it as anything beyond just a carnal revolt in my stomach. I don't want to hold some other guy's hand. I don't want some other guy's arm around me. I don't want any of it. I've been focusing on my 2 younger kids. We all moved back to my mother's house. She's old and needs someone to help her, and it hurt me too much to stay at our old house because it feels so empty without him. I recognize that I am probably lingering at the outskirts of depression, as I've lost about 30 pounds since we separated. A few times a week I will message him or message my 2 older sons, and dutifully they ignore me. You are in a very complicated situation. I honestly believe that he will not be able to overcome the fact that you have lied to him for 20 years, even more than the cheating. Your friend was the only one who was with him when she found out. She's probably a support to him right now. What makes you think you can still go back to him? This is the fascinatingly bitter truth to it. She's the only one who knows his predicament. To the best of my knowledge, he hasn't talked about this with our kids, with his friends, or with his mentors. I know that deep down he feels hurt and ashamed that I lied to him throughout our relationship. He told me that he feels like a fool. He's so good and strong, and I broke him for nothing. He messed up, but something seems fishy with Julia and the husband's actions. Kind of hard to believe this is all over some kissing. Partying for a year, and the worst you did was kiss 4 guys? And your husband immediately asks for paternity tests? Yeah, something doesn't add up here. What doesn't add up is that he doesn't believe me. He thinks that I am only admitting to what my best friend spilled. Can you blame him? He just found out about 4 guys. How the hell can he have any comfort or certainty that there aren't 20 more? Your good word doesn't cut it anymore. I can't blame him for not believe me. Why he's staying with your best friend if she did the same thing? She cheated on her boyfriend. I don't know. I don't even know if they're an item, or if she's just sleeping over for unrelated reasons. The only way I can find out would be getting one of my twin girls to ask my husband, but I'm not willing to do that. Also, the kind of guy who would have his wife's best friend sleep over after 8 months of separation before their divorce is even finalized, and while 2 of the kids are living with him. Please don't try to get this man back. Get a great divorce lawyer and move on. The divorce is already finalized. It was as of last month. I'm sorry for the confusion. I religiously refer to him as husband instead of ex-husband, though I suppose this is another thing I will have to get used to losing. I won't villainize him for moving on 8 months after we separated. I'm amazed that you kept the friendship with that toxic person for 20 years. She really wasn't toxic to us. She never hurt me in any way through these years. You're joking. She led you to cheat and then stole your man. How much more toxic than that does it get? Update number 1, 7 days after the first post. Well, I did something I never thought I'd do. I unblocked Julia and reached out to her. We set up a time to meet for coffee at my mom's house when the place would be empty. We spoke for hours, though I can't say that it was like old times. I found myself stuck with a tenseness in my stomach. I realize I still hate her for what she did. I'll never be able to let loose with her like I once did, and that's a reality I have to accept. Anyway, reiterate the facts as she has told them. What were her intentions in telling my husband about my cheating? It was purely a drunken mistake, with no real rhyme or reason behind it. She doesn't even remember it happening. She just remembers my oldest son being very short with her the next morning, and my husband later explaining what she had said. How did she behave with my husband after the revelation? My husband cut her off a day or so after I did. He did this because a few days after the incident, via text, she tried to convince him that she was drunk/confused. But this happened after he had confronted me, so he knew that it was the truth she had spilled. He wanted space from her because he associated her to all of my lies. How did she get back in touch with him after he blocked her? He didn't block her, he just told her to not contact him again. She promised to keep her distance from him and the kids. 3 months later, she reached out to him again because she has been getting help with her alcohol abuse, and she wanted to apologize for all the harm she did. After that conversation, they kept in touch. Why is she spending nights at his place? She's been finding it hard to stay at home alone during winter because of her old drinking habits and wanted some company. She sleeps in the guest bedroom and obviously they don't drink together or anything. She apologized for the confusion it caused my twin daughters. Did she ever sleep with him? Yes. After the divorce finalized, they hooked up a few times to let off steam. She insisted that I shouldn't worry because they never tried to pursue a relationship. There's way too much resentment and baggage for it to work, and she doesn't think she's his type. There it is. I cried when she admitted this. She cried and apologized. I must have told her that I hated her 1,000 times. I really do hate her. I hate her more than I thought was possible. She knows how much I love him. She knows how much I need him. And yet she still manages to knock things over and out of place no matter how it hurts me. I told her to get out after that. I haven't blocked her again. She wants to be back in my life. But there's no chance in hell I ever want to lay my eyes on her if she's sleeping with the man I love. I know some women can swallow their pride and do it, but I can't. So that's where I'm at. At least they're not in love or running off to get married. I tell myself that he's just using her to try to fill a hole in his heart. I tell myself that letting off steam is not how anyone would describe meaningful sex. It's a physical reaction to stress and circumstance. But then I remember what she said about her not being his type. I wish I asked her if she's dating now or if he has his eyes on someone. I wish I wrote down notes on what I wanted to learn and express instead of just going in unprepared. My emotions got the best of me and now I'm here weeping again until my body hurts from exhaustion. This hasn't helped my obsession with the prospect of him moving on. All this meeting has done is humble me at the thought of him and her making love. I can't let this go on. I need to get him back before he falls in love with someone else. Given the new information I've learned, does anyone have advice on what to do? Best comments, OP answer a couple of questions. You have zero right to anything to do with them. They hooked up after your divorce, which you caused by cheating repeatedly, and you claim to hate Julia? You have zero self-awareness. You ruined everyone's lives. I feel terrible for your kids having such a dumpster fire for a mother. You're right that I have no right to be angry. He slept with her after he divorced me, and she slept with him long after I had kicked her out of my life. On paper, neither of them owed me anything. In their eyes, life is probably moving on, and I'm some previous chapter in their books. but it's impossible for me to compartmentalize the concept of my husband as being a part of my past. I refuse to do that. That being said, I recognize that I'm probably coming off like an obsessed stalker. This all just feels like such a pathetic end to my happily ever after. Why do you need him? Did you not need him before you cheated on him? I have always needed him. I cheated because I was an idiot that thought self-exploration comes from a specific brand of experiences, and anything short of that would leave me sheltered and unfulfilled. Instead, I found that I hated the version of myself that kisses other guys. It was just so stupid. Your best friend is honestly disgusting for sleeping with him after everything she's done. F her. She's a piece of shit. Seriously. I want to rip her throat out, but every time I get angry about it, my guilt catches up to me and reminds me that all of this is happening because I was a damned idiot. Work on repairing your relationship with your kids. How are they dealing with all of this? My twins have been very understanding. They know why the divorce occurred, and they haven't complained, at least to me, about spending time in two separate homes. My two older boys aren't in touch with me at all, which is something I might talk to my husband about. But the fact is that they are old enough to make decisions of their own. Their dad can't force them to play nice with me, no matter how much it hurts my heart to not see them.